Hi, my name's Alice. I'm one of the educators at the Virginia Living Museum, and today we are going to be learning about simple machines. Simple machines are tools that make work easier. We are going to define work as the energy it takes to move an object. Simple machines allow us to do more work with less energy. They do not change the total amount of work needed to move an object. However, they change how it feels and the energy required to move an object. All simple machines change the direction or amount of force needed to move a load. Force is the action of pushing, pulling, or lifting, and load is the object that is being pushed, pulled, or lifted. There are 6 different simple machines. There's a pulley, a lever, wheel and axle, wedge, inclined plane, and a screw. A pulley uses a wheel with a groove in it and a rope wrapped around that to raise and lower a load. A lever is a bar that rests on a support. The support is called a fulcrum, and the bar and the fulcrum are used to lift and move load. 3 different classes of levers: Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3.
In Class 1 levers, the fulcrum is in between the effort, also known as force, and the load. In Class 2 levers, the load is in between the effort, also known as force, and the fulcrum. And in Class 3 levers, the effort is in between the fulcrum and the load.
A wheel and axle is a wheel with a rod through it, and this is used to push or pull heavy loads. A wedge has 2 slanted edges, and these are used to cut or separate materials. An inclined plane is a slanted surface, and it's used to connect a lower surface to an upper surface. And finally, a screw is an inclined plane that's been wrapped around a pole, and these are used either to lift or push, but they're also used to hold items together. One observation that you may have had is that all the simple machines have either few or no moving parts in them. What's really interesting is that simple machines are all around us and they're part of our everyday life. We are going to go on a little field trip and we're going to go around my house and my backyard and then maybe for a walk through my neighborhood and going to make observations about the simple machines that we find. I also want you to go on a little field trip of your own and look in your house and look in your backyard and see what you can find as well. So let's go ahead and go.
The first place that I went to look was my garage. I found a pulley on my garage door. I wanted to see the pulley in action. When it was lowering the door, I also noticed that there were levers and wheels involved. After leaving the garage, I went to the backyard and noticed that my clippers were levers as well. I used them to trim the bushes around my house. As I was going back inside, I noticed the stairs. These are an example of an inclined plane. They go from a low area to a high area. When bringing in the trash can, I used a wheel and axle so that I was able to roll it up the inclined plane of our driveway. This made the work easier. The car has a wheel and axle to help it move. This drill is pushing in the screw to hold the boards together. After all the exploring and work, I used a knife, which is an example of a wedge, to cut apart my snack.
What simple machines did you see around your house, your yard, or your neighborhood? One thing that I noticed is that at first it was kind of hard to see all the simple machines, but as soon as I started seeing one, I saw so many more and realized they really are all around us. Oftentimes, you see 2 or more simple machines together, and when they work together, that is called a compound machine. A great example of a compound machine that we see every day is a bicycle. It has a wheel and axle, it has pulleys, and it has levers all within it. These 3 machines put together help us do more work with less energy. Simple machines are used every day to help us get things done, but they can also be used to create fun. A great example is a Rube Goldberg machine. A Rube Goldberg machine is a bunch of simple machines and actions put together to complete a very simple task in a very complex way. I've decided to create a Rube Goldberg with the goal of putting a ball in a cup. I'm going to walk around my house, gather materials from all around, the recycling bin, my office. I might look in my garage and see what I can find. And again, that goal is to have a series of actions and a series of simple machines to help put the ball in the cup. I'm going to take you along with me as I go through this process.
These are the materials that I was able to find around my house for the Rube Goldberg challenge. After quite a few attempts and a lot of chasing after my object, I was able to have a successful run of my Rube Goldberg machine.
You can challenge yourself and build any Rube Goldberg that you like with any end task. As you can tell, sometimes it takes a long time, but it also takes you tinkering and figuring out what's going to work best. You may have seen that my animals even tried to help, but let me tell you, they weren't very helpful. Today we learned that there are 6 different simple machines. They are a pulley, a lever, the wheel and axle, a wedge, an inclined plane, and a screw. All simple machines make work easier. They also change the direction or the amount of force needed to move a load or an object, and they all have no or few moving parts. We also went around and we looked for simple machines in our everyday lives. I really hope that you share the creations that you make, but also share the simple machines that you find in your everyday lives. Thanks for joining us as we talk about simple machines. We'll see you later.